Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another Sunday Cook with me. Well, today I'm really in a pickle. Well, I'm not really in a pickle. I'm going to make some pickles. So I thought I would try making a couple of pickled items. I'm going to make some dill pickles and then I'm going to pickle some red onions. Now, everybody's making candies this time of year to give as gifts for Valentine's Day. I have friends who like the candies, but also like the pickles. So I'm going to put together a few jars of pickles. I'm not sure how many I will get made because it depends on how far my cucumbers go. And these are pickles that I am sure almost every one of you have everything you need right in your house. So I'm going to take you down. We'll start at the stove just for a second, and then we'll get the pickle jars ready. Now these are fermented pickles. I'm not going to can them. They're going to go in the refrigerator, and they're good for a good month anyway. And so they'll go in the refrigerator. So there's no canning involved. You don't have to use ball jars or canning jars. You can use any jar with a nice lid on it. A used pickle jar, some relish jars, or whatever you might have that you have finished up. When you finish your jar, wash it out, put it in your dishwasher, wash it out, and you've got some jars for your pickles. So let me take you down and I'll show you how we're going to get together today and make dill pickles and pickled red onions. Be right back. Now I'm starting right here showing you what I have already got in the pot because it needs to get boiling. In this pot I have 3 cups of water, 3/4 of a cup of white vinegar, and I'll show you the vinegar over here, 3 tablespoons of granulated sugar, 2 tablespoons of kosher salt. Now you can use pickling salt, kosher salt, or coarse sea salt, but you don't want to use table salt because it has additives in it that will not work well with the pickles. I also have the cucumbers, dill, garlic, and some spices, and that's all there is to making pickles. So let me take now and I'll show you how we're going to get the pickles ready while this is coming to a boil. Be right back. Okay, here we are. Now that brine you saw me make on the stove needs to come to a boil and then boil for a few minutes. Basically all you're trying to do is dissolve the sugar and the salt to make sure that's all dissolved, okay? So I'm going to start by getting, now my cucumbers, I've already washed them. So I'm going to get a couple of jars ready because I'm not sure how many jars I'll get. This is pickling spice. Okay? If you don't have pickling spice, you can use some mustard seed and peppercorns, black peppercorns. And if you have full allspice seeds, that's good too. I'm going to just take a big fat teaspoon, put it in each one of these jars. Now I'm going to get some of these ready. And you always want to cut off the blossom end. That's the end opposite where the stem was. But I usually trim just a little off of each end. And you saw I measured it to see if it was going to be the right size for the jar. Now I'm going to just quarter these. And I've got a variety of jars here. And you can make quarters like this, which would be spears. You can make slices. you can make those, what do they call them, sandwich slices. So let's see what we got here. It's easier to put these in. Oh, and I'm going to throw in a clove of garlic, okay? Easier to put them in if you do hold the jar a little bit sideways, because you want to get them in quite good and tight, because you don't want them to be floating. I think I can get maybe one more in here. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Now I have a couple of garlic cloves that are very big, so I'm just going to cut them in half. Do a couple more. That's a little large. The hardest part right now is finding the cucumbers, because they're not, well, they're growing somewhere, but I have to go to a farmer's market to find them. So there's 2 jars. I think we can get another one here. Another bunch of pickling spice. Now that cucumber doesn't feel good to me, so I'm not going to use it. You want to make sure your cucumbers are as fresh as possible. Now I can get 3 spears per side on this one. I have 2 cucumbers left. Well, let's get this little puppy in here somehow. There we go. Now I have this 1 cucumber. So what I'm going to do is just put a few slices . You got to leave enough room for the brine to cover them all. We'll see. And I think that's all I'm going to get in there. I don't think I can, you know what I might do? Let me just put all the slices in this one jar, and that just won't be a full jar, that's all. Put a little bit of pickling spice in there. Now I'm going to add dill to each of these. I'm just going to try to push it down in here a little bit. I might have to pull one of these pickles out and bring the dill down with it. It's nice if you had, and this is easy, it's nice if you had some of the flowers along with the regular dill, but my store did not have any dill with flowers on them. There you go. Now one other thing that is good, I'm going to add a bay leaf. And the reason I'm adding a bay leaf is bay leaves contain tannin. And tannin is a product that will help keep your pickles crisp. So I'm going to try to get a bay leaf down inside there. Tannin is in tea. You could actually put a tea bag in it if you needed to, if you didn't have any bay leaves. There we go. Now let me get my pour here. This has been off the heat for a little while. Although it's still hot. Now this was supposed to make 2 quarts, and so I've basically got 4 jars equate to the 2, so now I'm just going to put the tops on them. Carefully, because the jar is hot. There you go. Now I'm going to put these on the counter and let them pretty much come for a good hour or more, maybe a little bit to get to the room temperature, kind of, and then I will put them in the refrigerator. Now this one is going to float, you see? So what I'm going to do with this one is turn it upside down every day, making sure the top is nice and tight. All right, we'll be back in a minute and do some pickles. No, we won't do pickles. We'll do pickled onions. Okay, I have a peeled red onion here, and I have a mandolin, so I'm going to use this for a bit, I think. See if I can make this work, because you want these sliced as thin as possible. You can do it with a knife if you don't have a mandolin, and I don't like using a mandolin, but I do have the guard here when I get a little lower here. See if I can use it. It wanted to fall apart when I used the guard, but we'll see what I can do here. And if I can't, I'll just cut them. That is not going to work. There we go. Now these are great for topping off tacos, onions, hot dogs. Enough of that. Let me just see if I can cut this down just a little bit more. I mean, we're not looking for perfect onion slices. We're just looking for little thin pieces of onion. There we go. Now that is one large purple onion. And I think I'm going to squish it all into one jar here. I think maybe I'll try it. Now I have a quart jar that I can use for the rest of these. It's too many for it, but we'll pickle them in it anyway. I can always put them in another container. Ooh, you have to cry your way through this one. Let me just rinse my hands. Okay. Now this one is I doubled the brine because I'm going to use two different jars. Now this is a half a cup of cider vinegar, 1 tablespoon of granulated sugar, 1.5 teaspoons of salt, and a cup of hot water. Now you don't have to boil it, it's just hot water. Now I'm just going to stir this until the solution is clear. In other words, that I know that the sugar and salt have dissolved. And that looks pretty good. So all we're going to do now is pour that over those pickles. How easy was that? They can cool here for an hour or so, and then we'll put them in the refrigerator. So here we go. We've got 2 pickled onions, 3, 4 dill pickles. Let me just take it down. Oh. So that's it. Hold on a second. So that's it. Obviously I can't really do a taste test because they've got to do their thing fermenting. But I tell you what, I will do a taste test, if not sometime during the week, and put it on my community tab, or I will do it next Sunday when we meet again. But in the meantime, I hope you enjoyed it. Give me a thumbs up, give me a comment, tell me if you like dill pickles. You can also make sweet pickles. And I will get back with you next week. We're going to do some more crafting. So until then, have a great day. Hope the right team wins for you. This happens to be Super Bowl Sunday, so I don't really have a favorite, so we'll just see who wins. And I hope you have a great afternoon. Enjoy the game if you enjoy it. And everybody play nice now. Love ya. Bye-bye.